1 2. Check check. Mic check 1 2. Check check. Check check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Hello hello.
I went down there to like use the restroom.
Okay,
and like get some water. Because they had like the cups.
Yeah.
Water fountain. And I walked in.
Hey, check 1, 2. Hey, check 1, 2. Check. Check 1, 2. Check. Hello. Check 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Hello. Hey, check 1, 2. Hey. Hey. Cool. Sounds like they work. Hey, check 1, 2. Hey.
We're running like 20 minutes behind. That's perfect. Yeah, you hang tight. You're gonna be Sonny right over there sitting at the table. He's waving. You're right after him.
Okay.
So.
It's probably the Bronco ordinance guy just kept it in there.
Well, I didn't get a chance to meet you,
Yeah.
but I saw you speak at that State Command a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Didn't have a chance to connect with you.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Very busy, but
Yeah.
nice to meet you. I'm with Armazon.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I remember meeting you. Crystal, nice to meet you. Yeah, I saw you sitting at this table.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, it's kind of hard to miss you.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Crystal, Aaron.
So nice to meet you, Eric. How's it going?
Good. We changed the title out there. Mobility. So we got, sales has a.
But I knew you were coming, and I was trying
People knows of, so.
You don't fly.
Mobility, I'm Austin based.
Try.
I think I am. Yeah. I'm Austin.
No.
Yes, ma'am. But once I'm right.
That's all right. It's all really interesting. I'm just saying, little Aaron, you're the CEO. Have we met before? Michelle, MNB. Michelle, Miriam, and
Oh, yes.
So, and then
We haven't met officially, but
Okay.
we came out back.
There you go. I was like,
She's the best dressed woman in every world.
oh no, I am not. No,
Yes.
I'm not. I just like.
That's what he did.
See,
Is that what you said?
that's
That's what I said.
That's what I
That's what she
said.
said.
They're doing good. I'm like, you can't be
Totally.
serious.
I mean, those kicks are crazy.
Was they fun?
They are dope. They are so dope. I'm gonna get you. Next time you see me, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna tell you.
And now you're with Austin, Station Austin?
Capital Factor.
Capital Factor. So we're trying to figure it out. What is CF
really,
House?
to make it really, well, first of all, CF House, Campbell Factory House has always been, like, we've already had a house at Sunlight. Okay, so that's, no matter what way, Campbell Factory, that's the check. So Campbell Factory is profited. It's not, and the reason we've done that is because it's a nonprofit. They have access to more, because people like to write to .org or whatever versus like a for-profit. So we just like in our mission and founder forward, focus on founder is we want to give as much money or access to as much money for you all
Yes.
as possible. And by doing that, so now we have this model, and then we have DC, and then we have Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
We've got some guys in Alabama on the fifth floor that are like, come to Alabama, come to Alabama.
We're gonna go wherever you guys go. We're talking to Alabama. We're
Sweet
talking to
home
Arkansas. We're in DC.
Alabama. I love it. I love it. I mean, there's
Yeah. Maybe you should be in that on one side. Why nonprofit? Hey, maybe you can help us. Absolutely.
Anyway.
Yes.
But so yeah, just that's what's happening. That's what's happening.
Are you ready for the weekend?
Yeah. Today's from day one. It's good. It's really good. I love this one. The call is really wild.
Yes.
But there's just good stuff happening. We were like, oh, we're standing on gravity for the best entrepreneurs. This is Texas and now it's outside Silicon Valley. It's because just naturally it's happening. So we're constantly evolving.
I love it.
Austin's, I heard someone say Austin's becoming Y'all Street.
Y'all Street.
Well, that's Dallas. No, literally, Y'all Street is coming to Dallas.
Okay.
And there's a Chrissy Leota.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Chrissy Leota is first of all, she is gorgeous, stunningly gorgeous, and she is hello. We were just talking about you, stunningly gorgeous.
Normally good.
Do those guys reply?
No, not yet. Kevin DeMoore.
Yeah, he systems.
Yes.
Chris Sineski and I go 6 years back. We're like,
Yes. We're the world's first autonomous road to rail solution. What we do is take road-based
This is
commodities and transport them
cool.
directly onto rail.
Yeah. So right? Like Ron.
Yeah. I know Mike. Yeah, Mike probably talked about us.
He did.
Yeah, okay,
That's
gotcha.
all, that's all I'm like, oh, I know about that because Mike was telling me.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
I've only known Mike.
forever. No, really?
Yeah.
Mike Garland?
Yeah. 33 years.
Oh,
That's not-
I was like,
that's not
so
forever
you
at all.
know
You're a
about
stretch.
We were lieutenants together.
Oh, gotcha. You're a cab guy too?
I am.
I'm a cab guy too. That's how Mike and I were both in 3-3.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I wasn't at the lower number resident.
well, get out of here.
I started out in the second cab and then I commanded in one. I didn't get the lucky 16. I'm only 13. Yeah, good. No, it sounds really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
What do you guys do? Who's BAE Systems?
what are we doing? It's
Oh.
a big question because I'm not sure what are we doing today. What part of the you talking
Yeah,
about? You know,
right?
we're
How's it going?
yeah, so it's like who am I talking to?
Yeah,
What am I
no,
talking about? But a lot of it's like, I'm talking about like that's platforms. That's the other guys. Field electronic systems. I'm kind of like general support for our electronic systems sector. So our small form factor EW, our vehicle protection systems, our power propulsion systems, our simple ISR, as much as we have that. Our guidance systems for and then I'm kind of I also serve as kind of our ground subject matter expert. So we look at adding a capability to the platform. I'm like, well, this is how I would. So I do work a little bit with our it's ironic, platform guys, they're like, majority of our acquisition guys, fill our story guys. I'm like, Bradley,
There's not many of us.
I get into,
hey, we're the lucky ones.
I get into the discussions, like, I used to get in discussion with the PM Abrams, Colonel Howell, and he's like, well, I'm in this conversation, everybody's talking about the only ones that ever qualified tank. People
Totally,
talking
yeah,
about it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
when you're making decisions on what's going to go on there, because you know how things really run up in the accounting world.
Yeah, absolutely. You never heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. How long were you in for?
So we got a Marine. Or Aaron. I don't know what it goes by.
So here's
Hey, Ron.
here's the funny thing. So at one of these events last year, 2 years ago, and there's this guy downstairs, and he's a retired Marine, and I see him. This guy named Christian Vieira. He works with a small company out of San Diego. We went to the basic course 34 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow.
So he was, and there weren't many Marine tankers. You know, this was 1990, 91, and
I don't know if that exists.
well, they had him.
Okay, got it.
They had him until what were these things? 2000.
No, we had until 2018. They got rid of
Oh, wow.
tankers
Yeah.
and snipers.
That's crazy.
But they only had 3 battalions, so it's like
What,
you're in
were
that.
you a sniper or a tanker?
I was infantry. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
The Marine Corps, you think.
Yeah, yeah.
Marine Corps, you think of snipers.
Yeah, absolutely. They got rid
That
of
was
snipers in the Marine Corps.
They got rid of snipers. Yeah, they got rid of snipers actually.
But did
2 years
they?
ago.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
now they're just
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because there's like all everything.
Everyone's a sniper. We're all snipers.
Actually, one of my neighbors is a Marine Corps sniper, and he used to tell me about how many bugs he had to eat, like on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Just to keep it.
I did jungle warfare training in
Okay.
Tony, and yeah, I was
Oh,
had
good.
these buggy days.
Wow.
Yeah, buggy guy.
Wow.
I'm like, protein.
Absolutely.
So I did when I
Clean protein.
See that? So I did that when I did. So when I was teaching ROTC, I taught at A&M, and I had the Ranger company, so we're taking through one night, we're doing patrolling, we're walking through a creek, it's like 40 degrees, and I'm like, this is freezing, oh my god, it's like, this is so cold, and I'm like, you know what? Climb a tank.
And I was in high, I ate sea rats. You guys were not alive when they put sea rats.
Oh, sea rats?
How old are you?
I'm 42.
I was in the army before you were born.
Oh, wow.
Catherine, don't we know each other from North of Yes.
Yeah.
This is like OG when I first started at Capital Factory. Well, it's,
Wait,
but
wait.
it was like with Mary, Yes, yes. Yeah, he's around. He's around. I was like, I know you, and then I see the name. I'm like,
Kevin.
very. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And Aaron,
No, I'm with Glide.
you need to tell him what you do.
Yeah, we're the world's first autonomous road-to-rail solution. So we take
Say that again, rail to rail?
yeah, road-to-rail.
Oh, road to rail. I
Absolutely.
don't say that in tanker language to somebody like me.
Yeah.
I'm an Army ghost, so I need to know why.
Gotcha. Well, railhead operations.
Got it.
There we go. There we go. Railhead operations. That's why I discovered the problem. So I joined the Army at 17. Did railhead operations at Camp Scout, and then did it throughout the course of my career on the commercial side as well. So I invented a technology that cut out all of the processes, all the steps. So we have a vehicle that can pick up any road-based commodity, truck, train, whatever it may be, and transport it.
German railmeisters are going to be upset with you.
Hey man, now they can access the road.
I guess.
This is the first time I've seen the paper.
Well, me too. No, this is what happens on the
He is.
course.
I'm in California.
Yeah, I'm from Michigan originally, but moved down here about 3 years ago. So I'm up in Georgetown.
Gotcha. What is definitely pretty.
Yeah, I was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Yeah. He brings me around all these Army guys.
See you,
all the
brother.
time.
Let's stay in contact.
Where am I going?
Take
going
it.
north, Georgetown, going home.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
you're beating all the stuff.
You're in Georgetown?
Yeah.
I'm up in Morning Star, Ronald Reagan, 183.
Just ready, Cimarron Hills.
Okay.
For me, I'm up to Florida.
Yeah.
We gotta talk some more. Calf to calf. No matter the tier.
I don't think I've met anyone but Cat guys.
Well,
Hey, you know.
you're lucky.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Ray
Bye,
Rock.
Chris.
There you go.
See you.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry if I was
Y'all chat. It's great to see you. I'll see you around.
But
Is
is
Terry Wilson a member of
I never
myself?
knew. Yeah, I'll be here all week. I'll be
You'll
here
be here all
today too.
week?
Yeah,
he's
today
the
too.
congressman from
And next week.
Kentucky.
Yeah, so we can
The state legislator, sorry, for Marble Falls area. He's also a retired colonel.
Another three of us, so we'll take over.
I don't know.
He's a customer from
We do.
Mission High Star.
I'm gonna send our link
Okay.
with the
Because I
drill,
think his eyes
so
are.
you can pick whatever you want.
Okay.
I got that.
So if I can use email address.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
Is
send
it
it,
a,
any
is it
credit.
a, is it a baseball hat?
So
or
our
a
next
track
event.
hat?
Baseball.
Oh, I even better.
Almost.
And I gotta blast out the email.
Yeah, it does look
Oh,
like
the other thing is,
I was like, why
like
did
Wes never gets emails,
I
even
get
though
it.
he's a member of our chapter.
Well, that's-
I love it.
Yes.
He said that he,
But
did
yeah, I'll have
he,
Jess
did
send
he
you
email
the
you?
credit and everything.
I told him to talk to
whatever you
you
want.
and see if he could come
Absolutely.
to the
Absolutely.
chapter
This will tell
training,
everybody. We'll
if
tell
there's
everybody.
something
Yeah, whatever.
from either,
Well, it's really nice.
region or corporate that I would do.
There'll be people there, even if he comes and doesn't.
Funny stories. So I work for.
I'm
He's a salesperson.
we can set it up even if he comes and, let me, I gotta forward him the survey. Cause I think we can't afford to pay for the room, but you know, if he comes for the day, I don't know how much.
But we really try to bring it back here, like we do like an exchange, like for the newbies, like hey, we're done with certain ones, you're like I'm over those.
Yeah, recycle it.
You recycle.
Yeah.
Alright,
Devin was holding this up.
good to see ya, good to see ya, I'll see
Yeah,
y'all.
and I'm Justin. That over here. Here we go.
Well, we'll see you around.
Yes, absolutely. It's an honor to meet you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, I look forward to staying in contact. Yeah, I was at Northrop Grumman on the F-35 program for about a year and a half. Yeah. It's Space Park Torrance.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's, I came from,
Okay, gotcha.
TRW.
Gotcha, CRW.
I
Oh,
was,
wow.
TRW with that.
Yep. Well, you're here now looking beautiful. So, yeah. That's all that matters. Always. Yeah.
They signed the location.
Well, they got the Army first.
You took the words out of my mouth.
It should be. Is the Coast Guard?
And the shouldn't it be Navy Marine Corps on it?
No. It should be Army. Army. Is it Army Defense?
Army's younger. I was younger than that. Yeah. Yeah, Marines hit 250 last year. 1776. Or 1775.
Army was last.
Okay. So is ours. So you guys might be a couple months.
Yeah, we're way
Oh,
over.
no, it's a, that's not.
Stronger from Marine Corps.
I'm gonna run to the movie.
Okay.
Make sure my hair is okay. It look good?
You're out, right? No, I'm not. They're there running the What are you doing? Yes. 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 God. Yeah, I was anyway. I do it like oh, years. Right now. Oh yeah. 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 Yes, 100%. Yeah, for your birthday. And so and so wished you a happy birthday. Yes, I can see that. Cameo. Yes. Oh, he's totally on. And neither was this.
I feel like we're the early ones to the party. I'm like, I was like not happy. I know, and I don't have anything right now. That's me exactly.
Anyway, so
Sorry, I'm like, where's everybody? You're not early or late.
all right, we'll see you.
Was he in the military? What service? So ATR, which state? Oh, sorry. So he's ATR in Indiana. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. For a while I was, not full-time I was active duty then reserve, but I was in reserve units where you also had to be a civilian and a member of that reserve unit. Oh, wow. It was amazing because like you were, and I was government employee at that time. So you're like, okay, I'll wear my uniform and get paid twice this week. Not that I wasn't doing twice the work, but you know, they gave us 2 weeks of leave a year. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah. What? Army. I'm Army girl. Ergo Army. And I'm sorry, who are you? What do you guys do? Not too many people humans are made as because they follow me for boomer millennials. Sorry, we're a boomer millennial conversation here.
Oh, are you? So you have those every day?
Are you a millennial or a Gen something that I don't even understand?
No, millennial.
Okay, we got 3 millennials. What do we got here? You could be anyone. Yeah. A what?
Millennial.
I mean, they didn't have such things when I was young. Really.
Yeah, right?
Catholic or Protestant where I grew up.
Yeah, right, right.
Nothing else mattered.
Yeah,
Catholic or
I was
Protestant.
down with for everything.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I was with somebody, like a mentor that I mentored these women, and then I was like, my mother, I dropped out of college, and my mother dropped me off at the Met station, which is where you enlist when I dropped out of college. And they were horrified. They said, how did that make you feel?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't really understand what my parents had to do with the scenario.
That's so true.
You know, it's just a different environment. Not saying it's worse or better, it's just,
Yeah.
like, how did I feel? I felt like I was going to see a bunch of bald guys in a couple of days. They shaved their hair off. You know, and it was just crazy.
You were being shipped out.
I had no idea. It was before there was even a private Benjamin that I went to.
Oh, okay.
46 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Unbelievable.
How do I feel?
Yeah. You're gonna do it. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of discussions about it.
Yeah. Are you guys within the same?
Well, I'm an investor, and my son over there is got his own capital firm.
Nice. I'm already family or something, right?
Right. Justin and his own business as well.
Nice. So you're doing your own companies to invest in? Nice. I'll give you my card because I have a company I don't rep for right now. One just got non-elected board.
Oh, really?
And they're looking for, I don't really want to find an investor, but I will find people. Because it's a guy that I heard out there, I'm 25 years ago.
Oh my God. Sorry, what do they do?
Communications. Communications, platforms that are disposable or platforms that are not disposable.
Yeah.
You invest in hardware, what do you invest in?
Just kind of getting going. You know, we made a few investments in robotics and in space.
I would say to you that they're very
Oh,
multimodal communications. They're commercial.
how long have you been around?
I would say, I don't think so.
Okay.
You got good direction. I can't imagine. No one had so much money and they said, oh, we can sell you this many things. Like, oh, we can only buy this amount.
Cheese. Yeah.
That's hard to understand.
Yeah, right.
But that's how it would be. And then they're actually, in
as far
schools.
out as you do, but I live
Some
in,
people
I live
live
in
in
the
the
land
schools.
between, Leander and Liberty Hill, so.
I remember when that was green space.
Yep.
I remember when it was green space.
Well, there's a green space when I moved out there, in the nineties.
Yeah, and I came here in the nineties too.
Yep.
I gotta ask what year you moved.
Pardon?
94?
Yeah, 94.
I moved here in '93 after district school.
Oh, wow. 93, 94, 95.
All right.
So you know, you've seen
Yep.
it.
Yep.
I mean, what's terrifying to me is going north on 281 towards Lampasas, and then from Lampasas over to Great Gainesville and the Great River SpaceX there. That's incredible.
Oh, yeah. That's
Okay.
It's insane. I mean, and all the branches are selling property. And I built my retirement home there, and you know about that. It's suburbs are encroaching.
It's crazy. I had a friend who just moved out to Georgetown, actually. And it's crazy to see how.
Well, that's
Do you remember
suburbia.
River
that's not the
Hutto?
country
When Hutto was
anymore.
the end
Yeah,
of the world.
Hunter was the end. I mean, my mind is so.
Florence, you know, and all those places. And
Yeah,
now I'm
Florence
like,
and Dice. Yeah.
oh my God. Yeah. And when I came here,
We'll have to go conquer Briggs. I think Briggs is still pretty small.
well,
But
have you
it'll
been
be,
through there
but it'll be
lately?
growing.
I
There's
went,
some fireflies, you know.
yeah, Firefly's right there. At
Launch
the,
site is there.
yes, right there on 183.
Yep.
And they, you know, they're done now because they have one of those fancy shacky chic antique stores.
Okay.
That's the beginning of the end.
That's the beginning of the end of Briggs.
Yeah, and Ocala soon developed. You know,
I have some property out in Burgess. That I'm actually subdividing and selling it at home site. Don't sell very well. I got this ranch in, again, 1986.
my friend did that out by
1431.
with the dreams of
Kids don't want to live.
one's in rehab, the other's on her third divorce.
Yeah, right. The kids do not want to live.
Yeah, he's got the sleep. The developers can help him. No, like, it's just my kids. I truly.
So we live in 262 hours.
Most nights. I did a lot of rotational shift work for years. I do like DC people.
Yeah.
Ooh, I spent like 7 years in Las Vegas. That's right. Although I live in Austin now, so I'm not complaining.
I'm a sort of wannabe.
I really enjoy it.
I'm like in the
Yeah.
I have my own fund.
Oh, okay.
I have my own fund. So
I like living here. My wife grew up
graduated
here,
from
so
angel investing and now
it
we're
was an easy place to make a retirement. We're in Vegas right now. Approximately. It's a big place. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Nope. That's great. So I was primarily up in Providence, part of West, because I was working up on the Nose Range. And then after a couple years, we moved a little more into town, kind of in town, out of town, where my grandmother talked to me, and started getting really yeah. But Jimmy's Creek there, real nice. So we moved from Vegas to Florida to do military in 2017, and then I retired in 2022.
under 100 grand and some shelf price. even farmers range to like, you know, 25,000.
It's a good place. It's a good place. Yeah, it's funny, when I was there, there was no professional sports, and so I was part of the Vegas Wants hockey movement, and going around petitioning people, trying to get something. And now I look at it, it's like, oh my gosh, it's just the door blew wide open.
Immediately watching crazy stuff.
Well, that's great. Great problem.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. It's all right. How are you guys liking this so far? I skipped the October. So I was kind of really unimpressed with this one last year. And then like, I had some other things to do. This one, the past couple of years, is coming down really good. Real interesting. Oh yeah. Absolutely. So this is already, he's one of the top researchers, very senior political appointee, and he's going to make the announcement. He's already announced six critical areas for investment, but this is going to be some interesting plays associated with it, specifically the hospital. Is what we're interested in. It'll be really cool. Austin's a great place. Smallest summer, I assume? Or big? No, not yet. How do you think your first chili? I just saw the founder and CEO. I'm always attracted to that founder mentality. So, what do you do? I would say very far away. What's your background? Interesting. So I've got two entrepreneurs that I've worked with that have done something similar, both in healthcare. One came from a primary care doctor background and was interested in integrated health technologies and adopted the tech background. The other one was working at Dell when she had some health issues and then realized how difficult it is to navigate the existing systems and she figured out how to hack it. That's tend to be the easiest way to get started. So RBJ Management, you guys are supporting new work with venture capital work, or what's the next? I got there. Okay.
I'm getting a notification.
Very cool. This is your team. Very fun.
I never got rid of the app, so the app still warns you right now. Just keeps me kind of aware of what's going on out there. Yeah, and everything now.
Relationships tend to be very interpersonal. I mean, it does help. There are ways. It does help. 20 years of firefighter. Now I work at
He's showing up in this because
primarily bringing venture capital investment by services to the federal government. Air Force is our biggest customer. We run their venture capital. And we try to help people do it remotely because we're going to connect people. I'm not sure which of those are our core product is software to their place. The idea is for this
kind of a separate I'll see not for lack of
very
well, and
if you got it right,
what makes it complicated is like Frankfurt Spanish, it's okay, so you're at the solve after the so you want to say something like that, there would be 3 different forms of that. And then it gets about words that are called codes that are sort of like so you say it right and then somebody says no, you wouldn't do that because you just called a woman beautiful, but you used the masculine term for beautiful.
Nice to meet you guys. You said Robert? Bob, Jeff.
You gotta watch all that stuff.
We got Robert and Bob. I can see you've got a decent clip. Smart. We used to do that with call signs. Make sure it didn't matter what your name was. Just see the name before you would someone else's. Unless the only call sign that's commonly given is crash. So the challenge is when you get like 3 or 4 crashes with squad, you know it's your pretty spicy. Bob is pretty good. Like that can relate to a person, that can relate to something that floats. Like there's a lot of opportunity to play with that. Oh, for sure. You could be reading. Nice to meet you. These are Cheezos. So I have 2 things at home. I love my tomatoes. I've worked on this for so long, but then I realized that some people are designed to be somewhat one unless it adapts to your foot and you won't get my moment. And so that's where I've really right. So I like layers of vegetarian leather and pork because they hold your foot, they absorb your sweat, and they hold it and they hold that shape. So I really like my Cheezos. I'm also
Justin Roper.
so we were talking about military. Army? Awesome. I was in conflict for my first 4 years, and then I pivoted, spent most of my time in highlights. It's productive and we're definitely forcing to look at it, not to plan, but that's okay. I like the concept. I like helping people. So I retired from the Air Force a few years ago. I was a pilot, but I didn't fly my last 2 years on some issues. I was non-standard. So I worked in special operations. Our organization went out and fought after I got some health issues, I became a strike pilot for Air France. I went back home to Paris, and then I burned it off. Most of the movies are inaccurate, but the mental health is very
Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh. Is this working? Okay, just gonna turn it up. Good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Station Austin. Yes. That is something to applaud about. I am actually not from Station Austin, though. My name is Bobby Jo Green, and I'm the head of programming for Station DC. So I've traveled here probably like many of you. But I have the pleasure to introduce Station Austin's new Critical Technology series, which is going to be exploring the intersection between national security, VC, and emerging technologies, like so much of what Station Austin does every single day and what Capital Factory does every single day. But to kick everything off, I am going to introduce the Honorable Mike Dodd, Assistant Secretary of War for Critical Technologies, and Jim Raybook, Venture Principal at Night Dragon. Everyone give him a hand.
I think you got us on the other things. Thank you.
I think we're good. Can you guys hear us? All right, welcome to Austin. Come on. The first thing we always like to start off with in Texas is chivalry is not dead here. So if you came from California, you're welcome, and we'll all give you a handshake. So I have the honor of introducing the Honorable Mike Dodd, also known to many of us as the Dodd Father. And so if you don't follow his newsletter or you haven't heard of it, go follow it. It's amazing, daily updates. So the shout out there. One thing that before we dive into his role as Undersecretary for Critical Technologies, what I want to do is start shaping, why I'm so thankful that it's Mike Dodd who's leading in this, and then B, why it's so important. So to shape some context, so for those of you that are in Austin, you guys are already aware of this, so I am a new father. I have shared, yes, I'm a new dad. His name is Hal. And yes, also known as, his middle name is Hal GovDaddy Raybuck. He was born, and he came into this world and occurred on, so he's also a Christmas baby. He comes in early. And the man sitting to my left, I think he'd already put probably 1 million miles on his United, on United or American, whatever you fly. And I just get a kind text from a man who's dual-hatted as DIU director, Critical Technologies. We are changing the way that we are securing the West, and I get a text the day that he's born. It says, hey man, so pumped for you. Glad that this is something that you've wanted for a long time, and it was an incredible gift. In addition to an incredibly important role, Mike is an incredibly admirable character, and he has incredible ethos. Mike, a few years ago, also opened his home to me and said, come and break bread, come and have a meal. come and stay at my home and open his home to me, both as a friend and a mentor. And for the last 6 years, I've known Mike. And the reason why I share this story is that the context for his role within the department is incredibly important, because the character of men that are defending America in today, in a world that we are continually fighting against near peers, they are set closer to home than previous administrations have ever actually acknowledged, and said, hey, Russia is working out of Cuba, Russia is working out of South America, and we need to start paying attention to how we secure the West. So as we start moving into this period of securing the United States and securing the Western Hemisphere, Mike Dodd has stepped into this incredible role for critical technologies. So I, for one, am incredibly happy. I rest assured at night with a new son that he is sitting in this role and really changing what it means. So I know this is long-winded, but the last thing that I want to share is, before stepping up here, I have friends that are history majors here, and they started walking me through the history of critical technologies. And really, critical technologies was set up in the 1940s, but its real moment to shine is a key moment in history, and it wasn't our moment. It's a moment when the Sputnik, the Russian satellite, was launched, and America was sitting there saying, what are we doing to defend America from space? And so critical technologies, it wasn't the name at the time, was stood up, and it was launched to help defend America. And I think another critical inflection point for his role, and why it's so important, is that it shifted from what Pete Hegseth said is, we had all these science projects, we had all these science fairs. Well, another thing to know about Mike is he was a Mustang in the Marines. And while he is a very nice and kind man, he will also put our enemies in the ground if they try to fight us. And I think that an important thing, I'll whip to that. An important thing to know is that the critical technologies that he's working on are one of the key things that's going to secure America for tomorrow. So, Mike, so glad to have you here. Can you give us an overview of your role?
I don't think there's anything else I can add, Jim. I think we got it covered.
All right, we're going for drinks. All right, let's go. Barbecue and drinks. Mike, can you tell us about your role at Critical Technologies and what you're doing there, what your vision is, and what you see as the mission?
No, absolutely. And thank you, everybody, for getting together here today. I mean, a huge part of my role and my team's role is to do just this, get outside of the building and meet technologists and performers where they are, and founders and funders, and give you access to our problem statements for the department. And, as Jim mentioned, as a retired Marine infantry guy, the president nominated me very specifically to not do science projects. And as many or most of you know, like my thesis inside critical technologies is I'm there to give our adversaries nightmares. And the technologies that you all represent here are the means by which I get a chance to do it. So we are very focused. Everything that we do within CT, my portfolio, is field and deployed technologies in 24 months or less. So we're actually putting kit out in the field, out into the Unified Combatant Commands to actually have impact. Obviously, with recent geopolitical events and Epic Fury, we're heavily engaged, certainly, in CENTCOM and INDOPACOM, which I was just at yesterday, and SOCPAC and USRPAC. So deeply engaged with all our mission partners. And some of the maybe construct I'll give around that, and I think to Jim's point/question is dramatically different culture inside the Pentagon, in the building, and movement toward this complete acquisition reform of truly delivering technology at the speed of relevance, scale, and the speed of business. And I'll give one quick example, and then I'll talk about the mission partner engagement here for a second. Literally, January 2nd, I was at home, got a call from the deputy secretary, and he's like, Mike, I got $1.2 billion, and within 14 days or less, I want a commercial solutions opening on the street to buy 400,000 or more one-way attack drones for $2,000 or less. Go make that happen. In 8 days, my team had that CSO on the street, and we've just gone through the first down selects. Last week down at Fort Benning, we announced the top 25 in that. They'll go through 2 or 3 more tranches, ultimately ending in 1 or 2 performers who will get a several 100,000 unit order to fulfill that requirement, right? We know we're woefully behind on some of our counter-UAS and UAS efforts. Plug that into kind of the mission partner, which is important for performers, certainly who are looking to make sure that you don't die in the proverbial valley of death. So we've completely flipped the construct of the capture for within critical technologies. What do I mean? We hear this a lot, and you'll get this a lot as a performer from general whoever. Hey, that's really great technology. I got to have it. That should be in all my divisions, components, whatever. That gets you as a performer or technologist excited. Problem is that general officer doesn't have any money. Services have money, resource sponsors have money, PAEs, or the program acquisition executives, have money. Pay attention to the people or components with money. If they're not generating the demand for you, then there is no demand, right? So align your efforts into those activities, because that's who I deal with. And literally, I will call the service secretary or at the 3 and 4 star level and say, hey, I'm interested in doing this project. Are you going to catch, transition, POM for? Are you going to budget for this out the other side? Here's how much money I'm putting in. Here's my period of performance that I'll execute for. And then you've got to commit to catch out the other side. Another great example that I just recently did with Vice Admiral Okano, and you may have seen this in the last month out on DIU's website. Same. Admiral Okano, who runs the Navy Rapid Capabilities Office, she's like, Mike, I got to have a Group 5 UAS that can land on a gray hull, land on a ship. That's a pretty big problem statement. I said, why don't we chunk this thing down? Why don't we do a runway independent Group 5, and I'll put this much money in. You've got to catch it inside of 24 months. You go spend the next 3 to 5 years learning how to land that on the back of a ship. And I don't know if there's any SWOs in here or pilots recognizing that's a tremendously prickly problem statement. You want to land a Group 5, a F-16 fully laden UAS on the back of a ship. That is not an easy task. However, think of what that message and that capability delivers to our adversaries. If we can put that kind of system anywhere, then it's no longer about targeting our runways. We've got this type of capability, and we can put it anywhere. And those are the kind of things and efforts that we're working on.
That's a pretty impressive challenge. So one of the things that you walked us through is the demand signal process, right? Going combatant commands, line this up, who's going to catch it, how are they going to budget for it, how do they shape? I think that for many of us that, whether it's commercial investments, even the DoD folks, as we try to understand demand, how are you deciding between, you just said that you came from INDOPACOM, you're going to CENTCOM, as you go to start navigating the different geographic commands, how are you deciding, okay, we want to divide and conquer over here, divide and conquer over here? Are you splitting up your team? Are you executing yourself? How are you guys executing that mission?
No, great question. So obviously we're going where lead's flying today.
Yep.
And we're moving a lot of kit kind of that direction, as you may imagine. The however is we still got other adversaries that can't be forgotten about. So we've got to address these, either in parallel or in multiple lanes. Good news is, topically, a lot of our efforts work in each one of those unified combatant commands, right? So if some kit may be going, we've got a lot of kit down at the southern border right now, with JIATA 401. Again, stuff going out to CENTCOM that we're maybe pulling from other places, but it's still supporting the active combat that's currently unfolding. And I think that also sends that deterrence message to our other adversaries in China and Russia hey, we are bringing this capability to bear on another one of our adversaries, don't come, or that comes back for you.
So I know another thing is something for the audience is that, right, we all know that there's 6 technology areas that were announced. However, there are 3 that you primarily focus
Yeah.
on. What are those 3?
Yeah, so we came from 14 down to 6, and that was very intentional as well, right? Like, where are we near peer to adversaries? Where are we peer to peer to adversaries? Like, that's what we should be paying our time and attention and effort and resources to. If everything's critical, nothing is. So the 6 are scaled hypersonics, biomanufacturing. They live over adjacent to me in science and technology with this Assistant Secretary Joe Jewell. AI lives in our Chief Digital AI office. And then I own scale-directed energy, contested logistics, and quantum battlefield information dominance, all things spectrum, EW, and quantum. And in our contested logistics, broad topic area by design, because there's a lot that goes in there, from energy, forward deployed energy, all things autonomy, how are we going to feed, care, and sustain in very austere environments, forward deployed environments, our troops and or other systems that we've got to get after. In directed energy, like this is today's battlefield. It's shot per cost or cost per shot, right? Right now it's way out of whack in a one-to-many response kind of thing, right? Can we shoot down thousands and thousands of one-way attack drones currently? Not yet. Like that's not an easy problem set to be able to overcome. So when we look at like directed energy weapons, lasers, and then high performance microwave systems in a one-to-many response, and our per shot cost in directed energy in our laser systems, like that is getting there. Now we need to scale those things and get them out into the services and on our ships.
Have you seen a proliferation? So there's a ton of counter UAS out there. Directed energy, you have lasers, you have systems like Epirus, Aurelius systems, and then nearly every prime has one. Mm-hmm. As you're seeing kind of like, I know Army, we had a meeting with them recently where there's obviously layered defense. You have the folks that are, hey, we got the shotguns, then you have ACS that's got kind of longer range. Yeah. And then you have kind of those energy-based systems. Do you see your office focusing more on base security? Or, I mean, I saw an article that posted, some of these systems are on Humvees and systems like that. Do you have a focus on either one?
We within CT aren't the driver, right? So that's service chiefs, unified combatant commanders, like they're determining kind of the layered O plan and defense, right, of things that they're going to do. My job is to service it and make sure that they get what they need or want. And we're delivering not just exquisite systems, but many faster, cheaper platforms for them as well.
Sounds like what a good officer would do. Kind of shifting over, as we start looking at budget, well, actually, one point on that. So for the group in here, for the entrepreneurs, why that's really important is that if you just go knock on Mike's door and say, hey, give me money, he'd be like, have you talked to a warfighter? Have you actually gone and gone to a base? Have you gone to Indo-PACOM? I don't think going to CENTCOM right now is probably going to be a good use of your time, but have you gone someplace that a warfighter is going to say, I really want this, and they've talked to the commander, and they've navigated some of the budgets, and then actually shaped that discussion? If you're not doing that, then Mike's not going to be able to help you. He's going to his customers and saying, how can I help support you? So I think that's an important notion for everybody that's an entrepreneur in this room, and the way to leverage Mike and the way that he's going to work for the warfighter. Shifting over, I know you've known Secretary Feinberg for some time. You've had a relationship both in your private equity days, in the past of working with him, both in business and now in the defense side. An interesting note that came from a friend in the audience, 2022, Cerberus goes and says, we're going to buy Subic Bay. For those of you that don't know, this is a ship manufacturing plant in the Philippines. They go and purchase it, and it's set up to start manufacturing ships in 2025. Until really recently, the department hasn't really leveraged economic warfare to really defend and deter enemies. So with that context, how are you working with Mr. Feinberg? How are you thinking about both leveraging CFIUS and OCS and the Economic War Unit in driving some of these critical technologies that need a ton of capital?
Yeah, no, I'll thread this, I think, in a two-part answer. One, like the front end of that, and like I'm here again by design to meet performers and technologists. Like, don't misinterpret. My challenge is solve a problem for me, and don't sell me something. Like, if you haven't read the National Defense Strategy, if you don't have any idea where your product or service really goes within the department, there's probably some homework that you should do before you bang on the assistant secretary's door and say, hey, this is what I want to sell you. Engagement with the mission partner, again, if you've got, let them create the demand signal for you. So have that outreach and relationship. If you don't have it, our office is good for that. DIU is a front door. To have engagement with the mission partner is a go fast kind of opportunity. You kind of come upstream from that with Deputy Secretary Feinberg, who I did know back in my New York days. One, if you don't know him or never met him, he is an absolute force of nature. And the things that both Secretary Hegseth and the deputy are doing inside the Pentagon are unbelievably transformational, and have in uniform and in business national security defense space for 30-something years. I have never seen or experienced anything as transformational as what's going on inside the department and the Pentagon right now. Several previous secretaries had similar goals at acquisition reform and things. None of them did what Secretary Hegseth and DepSec Feinberg are doing right now. So this window where they've completely flipped the construct, and I'm going to get to the economic war and kind of cap side of this here, is recognizing IP theft is as pervasive as adversarial capital in a lot of our non-traditional performers. And we've recognized this for some time, so how do you combat that? Well, one, we have to have our non-traditional performers have access to cheap capital. And then we have to have institutional capital, private markets that are there ready to come rushing in. So within the last 2 years, the Office of Strategic Capital was formed. And if you may have heard of it, if you haven't, you would certainly check it out. But it's primarily loan guarantees and debt products. And they also, but very importantly, do a substantial amount of the vetting of the performers and who is in the cap table of those performers, which we need to know. And they are now, by design, attracting the private capital markets to identify and invest in these companies. So there's kind of three legs in the stool, right? If you're a performer, you're an emerging technology company. You've got your quals, your past performance. What do you do? What have you done well? Who's going to vouch for it? And that third most important leg for scaling is your financial capacity to perform. I have a lot of smaller companies, $5 and $50 million companies. I would love to award them a $300 million contract once they can demonstrate the financial capacity to perform at that level. So we love working with private equity, venture capital, institutional finance partners, so they understand what's important to us. So I love meeting both founders and funders kind of for that reason. Deputy Secretary Feinberg recognized this and said, well, let's take this even another step. And let's have kind of an InQtel, if you're familiar with InQtel model, where this economic war unit inside the department will now invest equity into these performers that we consider compelling for national security reasons. So that is like well underway. They've got statutory authorities, they've got funding, and it's happening like now in real time.
So as we start, and one of the companies that popped up in my mind that I was just amazed by, if anybody watched SpectreWorks and like how they reverse engineered the Shaheeds, and this small little 15-person company just went and essentially helped us evict Iran, is maybe a nice way to put it. I agree. Like that's, I think, to your point where, yes, a $5 to $50 million company can win, but you got to prove it. And I think one of the other things that the department recently released is that the department's gonna start taking into account commercial testing. So if they've gone and proven something in the commercial side, that may work when it comes down to your performance and looking at potentially winning a contract in the future. I don't know if you have anything to add. It was just a tangent to go down.
I mean, I think to that, yeah, it's happening in real time, and that becomes this window of opportunity for performers who are trying to get on contract and achieve some sort of that's a contractual engagement, but impact kind of on the mission and true access and ability to scale. A lot of the performers that we work with either don't know about OSC or the EWU, and like we bring them to them because both of those organizations are full of bankers. They come to us, to the department, to say who's important to the mission profile, and what you guys are doing and executing. We'll do we'll do all the term sheets and structure the deals, but you got to tell us who's important. And then once we do that for OSC and EWU, again, dramatically expedites private capital coming in and then connecting with these companies.
So it sounds like these units are all working together, interconnected. It's kind of, let's wash away all the mess and nonsense, and let's get after what's meaningful. When you start looking at, in 3 years, I know your remit is 3 years. We need to get things in the hands of warfighters because it's just like we don't know what it looks like 3 years from now.
Yeah.
When you think about transition, what's most meaningful to transition and what that looks like from your office and how you work with like Ocano or some of the other acquisition executives? What's your role in the transition process, and then where do you kind of hand off?
Great. And we're really taking a more commercial model look at this now. So everything that we do in my 3 CTs, but all 6, have a senior official designated to run each one of those activities. So like who the single person is running that activity within R&E. I think 2 is recognizing we're doing design sprints. So this thing is a very fluid landscape and battlescape. So the design sprints are that 0 to 24, 36 month field and deploy effort, but the services are driving what it is we're delivering kind of within those timelines. So topically, the CTs are there, but that will change like over time based on the needs of the services and our adversaries' capabilities as well. So we're just servicing and kind of countering that. And then everything is measured-based outcomes. And this was sorely lagging, certainly in the previous administration coming into us taking over both DIU and CT. There was so many science projects. It was unbelievable. In a couple of my programs, or one in particular, I went from about 180 contracts down to about 70 in under 60 days.
Wow.
Recognizing some of those were 3, 4, 5-year efforts that had no transition partner identified, no one committed to take that technology out the other side. So we're still spending money and expending resources in thousands of man hours supporting those efforts with no tangible outcome or transition partner that's actually going to take it. So dramatic culture shift inside, no more science projects, lead's flying downrange. We need to deliver capability to the warfighter.
Why do you think that, why do you think it would happen that we'd have projects that were 5, 6 years long?
And I don't know if there's any PMs floating around in here. That was an organizational and a PM thing. PMs don't want to see their efforts go to die.
Sacred cow.
Yeah, and I'd have them in and I'd say, listen, I challenged the PMs and the portfolio directors. I said, you can kill it now amongst yourselves, or I'm going to kill it when it comes out the other side. You're going to get that level of scrutiny on these project efforts, and I recognize, you've been doing it for 3, 4, 5 years. You don't want to see the effort end, but if no one's committed to transition or no transition partner identified, and I don't mean you listing 6 different components down in your in your quad saying, that's my transition partner. No. Like, I'm going to call that service chief and ask them, are they going to take this technology? And if it's a no, we kill it, we get our money back, and we hang our chips where they need to be.
So kind of shifting topic, looking at the 3 critical technology areas, and we know the 3 that you have, which is the one that you think is, like, thinking through saturation levels, right? Ones where you think are maybe oversaturated, or you think that there's a lot of great performers, and then what are the areas that you're like, I think that we need to do a better job of going and identifying potential companies?
Yeah, and gosh, some of those are going to be similar or the same. Like, we've got a lot of interest and activity, certainly around all things UAS, counter UAS. However, do we have a performer or several performers who can deliver 400,000 to 500,000 one-way attack drones a year? No, we don't. So topically, we've identified it. We're putting resources behind it to try and solve for, but we don't have that capability today, sitting on the shelf. And then again, in parallel with that is certainly my directed energy portfolio into the cost per shot and the one-to-many response. We have to have these laser systems reducing our cost per shot and HPM capability to take down thousands or hundreds of thousands of drones or other one-way attack drones coming at us.
One thing that I've been thinking about a lot recently is the responsibility of people that are in this industry is to study war and to understand it. And a good friend of mine who's in the audience today is an incredible student of war. And
who is it?
Stoichi. And I'd say many folks. You have Ben over there. Ben always schools me up on history of anything Department of War. He's a human encyclopedia. But when we start looking at what occurred in Ukraine, and we're studying what happened with Russia as they're going and pursuing into Kyiv, and the Russians just stall, and immediately my head goes to Sergeant First Class Baker, who was the logistics guy when I was an Army guy. Was like logistics wins wars, and when we start looking at contested logistics and what that area is and why it's responsible, or in kind of the technologies that you're looking at, my head goes to like the JB Hunts and the Walmarts of the world. My head goes to Amazon and some of these massive, even somehow Waffle House always stays operational during a hurricane, and they always get you your eggs, and that's like a logistics problem. So in your mind, do you see contested logistics as more software, hardware, more of like an operational challenge, that like an integration issue of the technologies we have?
I mean, it's all those things, right? And we're looking at moving more people and material further, faster, multi-domain. We're fighting now, from the sea floor to space, and we've got to have capability in all of those domains, and the ability to move that much material to fight in those domains is daunting. So it is all of America has to offer to try and solve for that.
So then, as we start looking to, as you start looking at by the end of your tenure, critical technologies, when you say like, you can pin something on the wall and say, this was a victory for us. This is what I did. This is what winning meant. And you can look back and say, I'm proud of what I did. What does that look like? How can the companies, private capital, and everybody in this room step in to help support that mission?
No, I love that. Thanks, Jim. And I think the biggest way is why we're doing these design sprints and these very commercial-esque product-driven outcomes. So we will know what success looks like based on the efforts that we undertook and actually transitioned to the hands of the warfighter. And I know that gets said so many times and so often, but what actually was transitioned to that service and to that warfighter? And did we deter major conflict because of that capability, or if we were forced to fight, did it help us win because we had it?
So when
That's going to be my construct.
So when a commander walks his line and says, I got a rifle, I got a directed energy weapon, we can get the weapons where they need to be, and we can do so in a way that puts us ahead of our enemies, you're like, that's a win.
Absolutely.
For the remainder of the time, what we're going to shift over to is a Q&A with the audience. And so it's not often that a group of people get to interact directly with an undersecretary, especially the Dodd father and director or owner of Critical Technologies. So would love to open up the floor to those who would have questions for him, and well, let's get started.
Hi, yes, thank you so much, Dodd, for coming down. My question is, the Pentagon has usually been risk-averse, historically been risk-averse when deploying new technologies, so I'm just curious, can you speak on any new red tape you're cutting through, any processes or practices that you're actually employing to deliver to the warfighter? Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll tell one quick sea story, but the reform that's going on inside the building is unprecedented in my lifetime, right? And I'll just go back to that example I gave, getting a phone call over a holiday weekend from the deputy with a task to open, compete, and award against a problem set that we had in 8 days. Has anybody else experienced that by work in the department? By seeing a multi-billion-dollar effort released and down selects happening inside of a month? Those things are happening. And again, my office and throughout R&E and R&E and under Honorable Michael, the Chief Technology Officer, those things are happening. We are running these efforts that quickly, speed, relevance, and scale of business. I also would say, the things that we're doing in these design sprints with measured outcomes and the way that we're obligating our dollars is dramatically different than it has ever been, again, in my 35 plus years of, kind of being in the business. What was the second half of that, your question?
Yeah, just the processes and procedures.
Processes, yeah. So this is something we're also blowing up. So one, in the acquisition reform, and moving primarily to everything going through another transaction authority. So we've got statutorily that authority to do those things. So we could do those all day long. Like I get a huge contracting shop. Like that's not a problem set for us. I can contract as fast as I want to contract. I also do most of the international work for R&E. And we recognized out on a recent trip that our overarching MOUs and project agreements with our international partners that often have U.S. performers as part of that, massively broken. We had PAs similarly that were 3-4 years old, and still we hadn't driven any work through them. Come home from that recognizing, for these things to take 7 months normally at the early end to 36 months out the other end, we're not solving anything if we're trying to identify the scope of work. It takes us 7 months just to paper it, and we're not performing for 2 years or 3 years. So literally, you come home, you identify the problem. Is that a person or is it a process? And we found out in that case it was kind of both. And now the challenge is to deliver a PA in 45 days or less. Once we meet with an international partner and say, our senior officials say, here's a scope that we're mutually agreeing on. We'll spend 1 day together to determine that. Then we'll huddle break, get out of there. And then we've got 45 days to paper it, or else it's meaningless. Then we're not really going to do projects together, with an ally or partner. But it's happening. Everything that we're doing, we're smashing.
So
Sir.
within directed energy weapons, we're trying to get the cost down. How do we support innovation in that, get costs down, and ultimately drive standardization in directed energy weapons, specifically within maybe bills and tills?
Great question. Dramatically oversimplified answer. I don't know. I don't have all those answers. What I do know is, I want a 500 kilowatt laser on ships and deployed for the services. Industry you guys got to come together. You need to understand what I want, and industry needs a solve for that. And if there's any way for me to reduce costs, increase lethality, gain efficiencies, like that's where industry comes together to solve that problem for me. It's not the department's job to, and this has been a problem, for us to come back and say, here's the requirements. You got to build to spec. I don't want you to build to spec. I want you to solve my problems.
Okay, good to see you, Jim. Hi, Mr. Dodd. So my name is Amit. I'm with Open Policy. We're actually a startup that scales access to policy, and we work with a lot of dual U.S. partners, and also really delighted to be partnering with the DIU. And what we see is a big challenge for companies of all sizes to really monitor all the policy changes and understand how those requirements that are shifting from NDAA to Department of War memos are creating opportunities for them. And we actually deploy AI in this space and kind of bring that to scale. So we'd love your point of view on kind of how can we use AI and technology to actually bring more awareness, right, across the stack of innovative companies and within the public sector itself to all these policy changes, but also requirements and opportunities to bring technologies.
First, I think great shameless plug for your company. You should wave and like you could help companies solve for. But two, within AI, and this is actually one of Honorable Michael's kind of favorite topics, right? 'Cause it's kind of in his background, and it does exist under our Chief Digital AI Office or CDAO. In their first several months of opening Gen AI, over 2 million users inside the department right now. And similarly, the CDAO office is using their design sprints to solve all of these things or look to solve all these things inside the department. So they are running 8 or 10 sprints at any given time of everywhere that they can improve process and efficiencies, and recognizing the department is such a massive bureaucracy. They're attacking these things. Again, 8 or 10 at a time, but we are using AI for everything that we do right now. Every sprint that we do, we run it through our CDAO AI models to have impacts that we're trying to use to oversimplify. But yeah.
How do you do? Justin McCarty, founder of Miras. We're working with a allied nation bringing a contested logistics solution to market. We've been working with U.S. partners in the military to try to also catch up to it. One of the advisorships that we had gotten from our allied partner was the Army or the military in the U.S. takes too long to create these programs, and you guys will die in the valley of death. Just ignore them, focus on us, we'll get you through it, and then the U.S. Army or the U.S. military will pick you up post. You were just describing how commanders are able to make decisions, and they're able to do it quickly. But then you also described another organization of people who are actually the ones controlling the funding.
Yeah.
UCMJ gives authority to commanders to be able to make these decisions, which is the most important thing that we can do as commanders. Why is it, or is there a way that you guys can sort of incorporate this unmanned vehicles as service business acquisitions model that the Navy has been employing into other services where you're not necessarily purchasing equipment, you're buying a resource or a capability set to then prove it out? Is that something that you guys are looking at to try to incorporate back to the command level?
Yes, but certainly at the very macro level, and I think for the broader audience here, different components, pay grades have certainly different authorities and acquisition authorities kind of that reside within there. So sure, can a regimental infantry commander procure certain things? Sure, but not much. So we're definitely trying to solve for it at the service level, vice the component level. However, we are engaged at the component level to ensure that our feedback and iteration is from our ground truth is coming from the very tactical edge and warfighter. But we're squeezing from kind of all sides there.
So Ty Ladesanya, I'm the founder from Lola Vision Systems here. Chip startup. Also went to Purdue. I know you have a Hoosier background.
There you go. How about that IU team? Huh?
I know, got that.
Well, one of the things, we focus on a lot of the hard problems when I was at Purdue when it comes to microelectronics. Just wondering if
cognitive electromagnetic warfare has been a topic of issue within those critical technology areas, and ways in which you guys are looking at taking those technologies to go from TRL level 5 to 6 or 7, because it seems like that's that major valley of death, and within DIU, that's one specific target, but if you don't meet that target, is there other avenues to kind of help bridge that gap?
There is, and actually it's a great question. So while I do have 3 named CTs, the remainder of my book, which are not named CTs, are still significant multi-billion-dollar efforts that we undergo. And great to hear you say microelectronics at Purdue University. So I also have all trust and assured microelectronics and microelectronics commons within R&E. So that is every chip, semiconductor, printed circuit board, that is going into any of our systems, right? And chips are foundational in everything that we have and do, so they don't necessarily be named a CT, because that is an enduring effort that we're going to go. As far as like the particular kind of project that you may named, that may fall in one of those kind of sprints. And then again, likely in the Trust Assured Microelectronics or Microelectronics Commons programs, where that capability is going to go up into a system or capability as the actually kind of end use case. Yep.
So we just made mention that, chips are foundational to everything. Chips are made of things, and those things have caused us some problems in the very recent past in terms of availability of critical minerals and rare earths. I know that there's been some forward motion on oceanic nodules as well as on some of the mines that we're doing here in the United States. But in my research of the problem, it's not actually access to the minerals, it's access to the refining technologies
processing.
that make it usable. In your scope, as you're looking at critical technologies, while it doesn't put a warhead on a forehead, the ability to produce and create critical materials in usable form, do you see that as a part of your challenge and what you're taking forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Art. Great question. And that's also part of our collaboration with kind of our brothers over in acquisition and sustainment and within the Office of Strategic Capital. And I know the first 10 or dozen term sheets that OSC did were all rare earth or critical mineral efforts. And I completely agree with your point. It's we don't have a critical mineral problem raw. We have a processing and refining problem statement. And those 10 or 12 term sheets that I mentioned were all to address that. So recognizing it is very capital intensive, very long lead time, but those financial instruments are certainly out there and well underway. I mean, those 10 term sheets were north of $14 billion of term sheets that OSC just signed out.
So we have time for 1 or 2 more questions for the group.
Let me see if I can phrase this the right way. You were talking before about how logistics win wars, and I'm curious on your take at what level do you think needs the most innovation? Is it logistics at like the battalion level or at the team level or even squad level? What area do you think is lacking the most currently?
I mean, I think that's going across the entire service. Like everywhere within those organizations should be attempting to innovate at speed, scale, and relevance. So down from the fire team level, who, those cats are like inmates. They can solve for damn near anything, like if they don't have money or access or whatever. But that's got to be a service-wide. That's a culture thing, in my mind. Through the services and through the department, of truly trying to ensure that we do not have parity of capability. That we have this continuous offset mindset. We don't get second offset plateau, third offset plateau. It's a continuous offset culture that we need to espouse and I think live like within the department. I think it's, again, across the entire department.
Final question right here.
Thank you. Mr. Dodd, you described an interesting dilemma. You've got a portfolio that you said
has 24 months concept to fielded warfighter capability, lethality and all the good stuff in an extremely short amount of time. You're trying with acquisition reform to get away from the primes, doing all the work for you and presenting
I'm
you
not
the
trying to
only
get away from the
options.
primes. I'm trying to get away from vendor lock.
Away from vendor lock.
Yeah.
And away from them being those primary options and the ones that are vetting and bringing forward your options. Really interesting place to be with all of the industry partners that are out there, along with all of the organic innovation that's happening, the disruptive ideas. What mechanisms are you using to be able to get all the requirements vetted, all of the warfighter input at the edge combined into your decision-making process, and consider and down select those options in the amount of time to field at scale?
I mean, that's what we're doing and living every day, and I love that, right? So we're using all of those tools and kind of methodologies from, engaging the CDO and all the AI models that we can bring to bear. We have the now direct connection with the services. I mean, some of this stuff is so commonsensical. You want to solve for the services? Well, how about we have somebody who actually goes and sits with the services at the J8 and gets that actual feedback of what is important to that component. So we're just doing and executing some very commonsensical stuff and then using a lot of the tools and capabilities that we already have or have access to in order to affect kind of all this change. And then just this the entire acquisition side of this thing. Again, we have blown up most of the FAR-based stuff that was going on. And statutorily, we have the authorities and we have the money to do what we need to do in the timelines by which that we want to do it. So there's no excuse not to go as fast as needed for the country in maintaining deterrence through strength. Like, we have everything that we need in order to hit those time metric goals that we're under.
Thanks, sir.
Great question.
Appreciate it.
Any more? One last one? All right. Yeah, I knew you had your hand up, so I didn't want to leave you hanging.
Appreciate that. So I'm Ethan. I'm with Codex Quantum. So we're building for the quantum technology space, which is one of the three areas that you have. And quantum technology seems to be quite different from the other critical technologies that you have under your purview, in that there's multiple issues. There's the problem of lots of noise happening. There's also on the hype side, and then on the skepticism side as well, navigating that. But then also, I would like to understand your stance with regards to science projects versus things that can deliver, and what time frame you have in mind for the delivery of this kind of nascent technology area.
Also, great question. I think, if it is outside fielding and deploying within 36 months or less, 24 depending on the kind of project areas, 36 like in my microelectronics, some are longer lead time type activities. But in quantum, which is not proven out, that a lot of those efforts will live over in science and technology until they get into a project sprint window of us actually delivering. So I work hand in glove with both my partners in science and technology and mission capabilities, the two other system secretaries. So we're all tracking and collaborating on kind of art of the possible. So once we kind of reach that threshold, then I would pull it into my portfolio to turn it into a deliverable project that I'm going to put my funding on.
Well, we, are incredibly thankful for you showing up today and sharing with us. And I, for one, I know that I learned a lot. And I think for the group here is, go talk to mission partners. If you're not getting feedback from them, his office just not going to be able to help you, because ultimately they're going to be the ones who are asking him to support. And then if it's a need and it's actually a demand, the department is going to respond. And that's what we've seen right now, is this department is taking action. They're not talking about things, and they're not doing science projects. They're serious. They're dead serious about making things happen for the warfighter and doing it quickly, efficiently, and making it so that our enemies know who we are, and they better be afraid. So if we'd all give him a round of applause, and thank you for coming. All right.
I live here, but so like during these events, I get held up. So when I don't want to be keeping up with drunks on the road, and so I got not a top end hotel. Okay, it's like a nice I'll chill here until Sunday night. Osp is down here. Hey, how you doing? We've actually got Brave One is doing an event tomorrow that we're tangentially involved with. We did one in Dallas yesterday. Yesterday they helping them expand to new divisions, sourcing deals. And then we do among other things. About 3 months, I think, after. So I have a consulting firm. I do my years ago. So I work with startups now. Last taking advice about pre-designated problems. I get startups, and so I agree that my at least one of them. And then he found this thing. Yeah, but you want just help me scale this thing. Do you have a military background too? I worked for Raytheon for like 10 years. Eric well, no, Eric was down here. It's kind of ironic. He told me, when I started, I got to work on my investment. It was not the glamorous path. Yeah, for sure. Go get the two cops.
I was in DIU when it opened, and it made a lot of people angry. I remember I'd go out to the bar, and I'd get technically screaming.
Oh, yeah.
And like, yeah, we're figuring it out. You don't know what you're doing. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah. Like, should we continue to not know? Yeah, it was intense. People felt very, like, whether they loved us or hated us, they all felt very passionately about it.
We just standing in the line.
Oh, good to see you.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me back.
I can literally go stand on the road like the catering staff or something. You are in a wicker.
Well, it's like when you're at the urinal. Everything's open. Someone comes to the next guy. Rippers.
Guy, come on.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Have you been to MRC?
Yeah, I've been to the okay. Thank you. Glad and I go back. Yeah, I checked it out. In fact, they were integral in getting me out of the U.S. government. Yeah. So I was pretty frustrated and I called the up. But not to be given to the outside. It wasn't, but go on.
So you want to go down, but there's such a crowd. I'm just going to wait. Tejas, by the way. Where's the picture? Tejas. So, capital. So we look at startups and we add a tech bridge. So we find corporate partners, work with the DoD, DIU.
I'm not familiar with it. Talk to Alan.
Oh, alright, okay, all I do is the guy work. So tech bridge, that's the way I put it. Pretty young. 8 years, not 8 months.
Okay. Yeah, you enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I like it. You know, helping people out, helping the war effort. That's what it comes down to, you know.
So you're on the defense side?
Yeah, on the defense side.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm sorry. A bunch of stuff. I can get up with this. Yeah. What's up, man? Hey, good to see you guys. Good to see you too. Nice to meet you. Yeah. It's been super busy.
We met a couple months back in December on that big building in the Meta building. It was the American US American Ukraine. How you doing? We've been busy. Oh, you're good? Was it Beach? I'm not Beach. Vegas. Nice to meet you. Yeah. What do you have back?
I don't know. Oh, we got flown from Austin on Sunday, but from the US, probably several. It takes time to get here from where we are, so like I better make it slower.
Are you based in here or somewhere else?
So 12 hours with the car, then 3-4 hours European flight.
No planes.
Then 11 hours.
Where do you fly to Poland and then drive from there?
I usually, I was, this summer I was going from Norway, because I was there, but usually it's Poland and Warsaw to either Amsterdam or London and London. So it's more than 24 hours for the whole. It's actually close to 30.
How's the winter been? Bad?
This was bad. The previous several months were pretty good. Weather here is still better than the winter.
But like, how was the winter for like the work? Like, hinder, like, is it alright?
It was actually better. So like when it's freezing, you don't have to
I am working, first of all, I've got traders with like and helping them transition out of military into
helping to find solutions. My bread and butter is I work with helping on the and the problem. I'm not usually working with like Hero or Low. I'm usually working them up after they've already done the grant and helping them in that transition from being a new baby into like how do we do programming lessons for what are OTs, what are the sections, or should you even do that? I.e. most of the companies probably shouldn't because they're never going to get there, they don't have the funding runway, and they partner with someone who's already has business with that opportunity. And I'll say that they're well, and let's talk about that because
Other than some guy I know